another Crucible and Cognac. I am your host, Boulevard Paper Fight, aka Blake, and this evening I am joined by none other than Zach Armstrong, a very notable figure in the KeyForge community, I find, especially if you frequent Twitter. Zach, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Feeling awfully flattered with that introduction.
I was really excited to have you on the show because we I guess struck up somewhat of a kinship over Twitter, and then had the pleasure of meeting each other at Nova at the Grand Championships.
That's right.
So I was really excited when I started doing this series to have you on the list, and Vault Boy actually put you as he pegged you as the next guest. That's what he said. He's like,
really?
Is Zach next? Yeah, he thought you would be the next guest.
Oh, Vault Boy. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, let's get things started. So first off, I always like to start things by talking about what decks we're going to be jamming this evening, so that we can kind of let the viewers know what our thought process is, what we're going to be rolling with, and kind of go from there to just establish the night. So why don't you start things off and tell us a little bit about the deck you're playing?
Of course. I am running a Worlds Collide deck. I've got some single digit plays in with it, and it's quite fun. The name is Tobalink, the Quantum of Flowers. So right off the bat, I just find a joy in playing a deck called the Quantum of Flowers, which is great. Other fun stuff, there's a Legacy Rocket Boots and a Maverick Lethal Distraction. The Maverick Lethal Distraction doesn't do a ton of work, but it's fun to have both of those in the deck, and it's got a Brabnar that does work, which is fun. A Logos that is really everything you want from Logos in Worlds Collide. And Star Alliance is this. It's tough to have a bad Star Alliance list, and that's proven true with this list too. So it's fun. Has some key cost control. Has some board control. And a few other just fun tricks. Don't think it's quite top tier, but might be able to take down a couple Chainsbound with it.
I have to say that's kind of been the trend. Is I haven't been wanting to play top tier while we do this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to kind of keep it more in the fun side, the mid tier, because we're always playing top tier decks. So
That's right.
It's nice to take a break, and especially when we're having this sort of conversation, you're kind of distracted a little bit while playing, so you don't want to have those crazy swings that could happen while the other person's answering a question and playing out a turn. I'll just go into my deck a little bit here. This is a deck I opened up at a sealed tournament the other week, and I took it down. And I really enjoy this deck because of Star Alliance. It is the thing that kind of makes this hum. It's got a really fun CXO Tabor and a Medic Ingram, as well as a Commander Chan to do a little house cheating. And then it has a really fun Shadows with a double hit and run with some great targets for that in multiple houses. And then the Untamed kind of just, it puts in a little bit of work, and believe it or not, has more of the board control exists within that, with obviously the double Cauldron Boil, and you have some Unsuspecting Praise. Nature's Call is always fun with that. I really like Post Pixies in this. It's kind of an interesting play. And then obviously Taliga is never a bad card in the deck.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right, so let's get things started here.
All right. I will be keeping my hand. Will our viewers be able to see the hands, or just
no?
Yours?
They won't. Just my hand.
Sure.
That would be recording that information for both of us at that point. So.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mulligan this as much as I don't want to. Okay, cool. I love the TCO mulls that are always like, it seems like it's not that random, if you notice that sometimes.
Right.
All right, so you're kicking things off, and the next question I have, which is kind of these are kind of the three intro questions, is what are you enjoying as a beverage this evening?
What I am enjoying as a beverage this evening is from New Belgium. It's a nitro cold brew, so a coffee cream stout with that kind of that nitro style infusion instead of the regular carbonation. I almost went with a hometown beer from here in Athens, Georgia, but I could not resist a stout on this winter night, having come back from a Christmas parade. So,
oh, nice!
That's what I'm enjoying.
I'm on a stout kick now too, and I don't normally drink stouts, but when I was visiting Dan from Sanctimonious, he introduced me to a couple stouts up from Washington area,
Mm-hmm.
and they were so delicious that I've been kind of on a kick with this nice cold weather. But that's not what I'm sipping on tonight. I decided to go for some maple whiskey with some soda and some Aztec chocolate bitters in it. Getting a little fancy over here.
Ooh, oh man, that sounds
It's
great.
really delicious. Yeah, I just kind of threw it together and it tastes amazing.
Need to make a quick trip over to Vancouver to try that real quick. Hop across
right.
a third of the
Yeah, exactly.
globe here. All right, so I have
all these-
opened with a wormhole technician.
Yeah, I got all these suboptimal plays in my hand, so we'll just have to have fun with those. And the next question I have for you, Zach, is just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, because my YouTube viewers may not be on Twitter, and I just think it's important to kind of let people know who you are.
Of course. So yeah, Zach Armstrong grew up bouncing all over the United States with a military family. Oh, and I'm also intrigued as to wormhole technicians in my hand. Got it.
Yeah, I just natured called.
Right. Great. Yeah, so grew up all over the U.S. So I'm a kind of child of all the continental states over here. Grew up, got a theater degree, and then ended up in marketing. Met my wife over Twitter actually, and then moved down to Athens, Georgia, to marry her. And yeah, now I work in still in marketing, but for higher education, which is a great balance to be able to work in marketing for something that's a bit more holistic. So I don't have to worry about, working for a company that I might have qualms about. Yeah, so it's been pretty fun to be in higher education and marketing here. I have
Nice.
Certainly enjoyed that. All right. Dropping out my big old Logos hand here.
Yeah, seriously.
Which is between the jar goggle and the Eddie 4x4, that's my whole hand there.
Yeah, that's very nice.
It was a very nice opening hand. That's why I asked if the observers could see my hand so they could
okay.
They could rejoice along with me.
Yeah, and I can't really do anything without being super inefficient to stop some stuff there, so we'll have to just have some fun in the meantime. You didn't generate any ember, which was slightly disappointing.
Right,
the hugger mugger in hand.
Yeah. Oh, you do have that. You do have the Vindas out against my bibliophile, which I'm not excited about. But
yeah, that's kind
life.
of fun.
That is life.
So I normally ask like how people got into KeyForge, but I feel like your story is a little bit more well known. If not, you can by all means check out a Call of Discovery. Zach goes on to it there, and I believe there is links to the video that shows how you got your first KeyForge deck, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So head over there if you're interested to know how Zach got into KeyForge. That is a tale that deserves almost its own episode, so I don't want to spend time on that. Plus, I feel like it is almost common knowledge at this point because it's such a great story. So I'm just going to leave that teaser so everyone's interested and can check out some of the other content creators out there. But I will ask you, what is the very first strategy card game that you played?
That is a great question. The very first strategy card game I played, technically the answer would be the Pokemon TCG, but I don't know if I could. I was young, so I don't know if I played that in a way that would qualify as playing. I briefly picked it up as an adult when I was hankering for a strategic card game, but eventually found Netrunner, Android Netrunner, when Fantasy Flight Games did it in when Fantasy Fight Games put out their edition in the 2010s that lasted for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun was into that for a few years. Sadly, that game is gone now. It lives on through Project Nisei, I believe. So if you're still interested in Netrunner, I think there's the community still exists, and it still works. It still happens.
Good grief, your logos board is getting disgusting.
Yep. Yeah, no, this is not.
I'm so glad I used my Nature's Call in the very opening hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like right away. That was perfect.
Yeah, no, that was a good call there. Let's see.
No, I'm being sarcastic because now I can't use it again to stop this board
Oh,
from.
that's right. That's right. I was I had sacrificed my conversational ability to start reading the board a little bit here. So I just agreed with what you said. Let's see here. What do I want to fully heal on every creature? Not too worried about that. I'm not sure if I want to attack with Titan Guardian and
Yeah, I'm not sure what your plan is here. This is
no. We're just gonna
this is gonna be weird. This I can tell this game's already gonna be weird.
We're just gonna reap out to get to 6. I do know you've got a J Vinda target, but such is life.
No, I can't steal though because you're a discombobulator.
Oh, that's right.
You've created a nice little package there for me to have to figure out how to move around.
Yeah, didn't take too much brains to play. Just play the color you've got the most of in your hand. Boom.
Yeah,
and then reap. So I guess I didn't give in to the temptation to fight. An argument could be made to fight, but I felt like reaping up to my first key with steel turned off was probably a good call there.
Yeah, it seems pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing I miss from Netrunner moving to KeyForge. Now I love KeyForge dearly, and I'm playing it much more than I ever even played Netrunner. I loved the hidden information in Netrunner. For those who don't know, it's asymmetrical. Somebody plays a corporation, somebody plays a hacker. Essentially, it's a dystopian future, and the corporation plays all their cards face down, which is really fun. Yeah, It was a pretty unique mechanic as far as a core mechanic of the game there.
This board state you've created is like the biggest problem. Like I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I'm checking my deck list. I think I drew my logos lineup is mostly creatures, and obviously I've got friggin' 6 of them out. So that's half of my logos I drew in my first 2 hands there. So
well, I want to stop you from drawing.
Definitely a high roll.
Let's get rid of that so you can at least... Oh, that's a good discard. I'm happy with that. And let's play the game here. Perfect. It got both your comm officer cards. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got both of them. Man.
That was very solid.
Dang.
I don't even know where to begin with all this. There's just so much... I guess I just have to go start putting in some work somewhere. So this is not going well by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, let's see here.
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't considering the fidget idea of how I could actually reduce my key costs by using fidget to take out your archives, because I almost never get to play this card with the archive function. It seems to be always up the top of the discard or the deck.
No, that is a great interaction with our board state. The key cost, relying on archives and fidget playing out of archives. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. So you're like, so I'm going to take care of that right now.
Right.
So my next question for you is, I want to know what's your favorite card to play. And when I say this, I mean, I want it from 2 angles. I want your favorite card to play that exists in KeyForge that is fun to play, and then one that you rely on as your favorite card in a competitive sense. So what 2 cards fit that bill for you? Oh,
sure. Oh, man, my favorite card to play. I recently picked up a deck. Well, this is casual. Just for fun, I love Old Boomy. I just get so excited whenever I get the chance to reap with Old Boomy. This deck also has Alaka's Brew, so I can give him an extra 2 power because he takes that 2 damage, putting him up on the... Oh, that's on my screen. He does that 2 damage to himself if I reveal a Brobnar card, but he's just so dang fun.
Yeah, Old Boomy is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Witch of Brobnar, basically.
Yeah, he really is. And I love having him in this deck with a way to keep him around a little bit, and then with my Eddie 4x4s, so I can try to chance it and just, maybe I don't care about Old Boomy living. I just want to chuck as many cards into my archives as possible, which is just doubly great with the Eddie 4x4s in here.
Yeah,
And you know, with steel turned off,
I know. Just keep
we're
forging.
just gonna dig right on through. No reason not to.
Hey, oh, and you archived again. Son of a
Mm-hmm.
gun.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the wormhole technician would do, but that was actually kind of optimal to keep you off of that key there.
I'm gonna have to do something that I really don't want to do. Let's go with a. How am I gonna do this?
While you're thinking, for our listeners here, this deck has given me a new love of Hapsis. I first was not crazy about Hapsis when I saw it spoiled. It's got that 5 power. After an enemy creature is destroyed, ward Hapsis and draw a card. But the thing is, I've got Rocket Boots in this deck and a way to give him a skirmish. And it's great if I can kill a low power creature with Hapsis, or just kill anything when he's got skirmish and then he's warded. And if I get Rocket Boots on there, he's a great target to just stick around with the Rocket Boots, do 5 or 10 damage with if I've got the Rocket Boots just, around. So Hapsis puts in some pretty good work, which I was pleasantly surprised at. And with Rocket Boots and Explorer Rover, Hapsis is just the board. It's a significant portion of my board control is just Hapsis.
Oh dear, I really don't like what I have to do here. Like the inefficiency here is like at a whole nother level.
Yeah, I got to draw my 2 off a Titan Guardian.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's just like just to deal with everything I have to and put
Kind
you
of
off
sacrifice
track
your whole board, yeah.
and not take out Edai, which is what I wanted to do. But I mean, I think I'm somewhat in check right now.
Right. 9 amber you should be, yeah.
Should be okay unless you drop your other Edai this turn, which is very possible.
Right. So actually, we're going to watch the Brobnar in this deck work.
All right.
So I am going to pick up the archives, which is sad, but let's see.
We're gonna talk about this old Boomy being archive thing that you were just doing. Is that basically it?
Yeah. He won't. He was in my hand. He won't be doing archiving this turn. But we're going to drop a Barn Raising.
Sorry, what was your competitive card you said that was your favorite?
That's right. I hadn't picked one yet. Oh, goodness.
Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't tune out.
No, of course. I would have to say my favorite competitive card. To pick one off the top of my head, I would have to say Regrowth for Coda Untamed decks, because it turns you put out a priority creature and then your opponent will probably kill it, and then Regrowth they have to deal with it again, and you're getting Amber along the way. So it's just a great consistency card. I love having the discard pile as an option for just to pull creatures out of, especially when they're in-house. So it's pretty great there. All right, let's see here.
So I'm going to ask you a question on the same line, since we're talking about cards here. You may not have heard yet the latest episode of Hell from Future Self, but we actually did a Would You Rather with Arise versus Exhume.
Okay.
So if you could choose one to have in a deck, and basically the idea is the decks are almost identical except for these 2 cards. So it's like it's like you just have this. So the same amount of creatures would exist in disc between both of them. The same amount of like other cards exist that have play abilities. Like it's all relative. So which one is your choice?
Oh man, between Exhume and Arise?
Yes.
Let's say I would have to go Exhume, just because it's a bit more flexible. I think Arise has a higher ceiling as far as the power of a play that you could make with it. Because you can pull just so many, all of your disc creatures, or maybe all of another house for the next turn to drop them all out. And there's some good combos there, but Exhume just gives you so many options. You could either just play something from a small discard pile, or you've got tons of options if your discard pile is If your discard pile is good and full, you've got any number of options, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd have to say Exhume.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the oofs just keep coming.
Yeah, indeed. That Brobnar helped me take out the rest of your board there. It was the first time I've actually gotten to use Gravel Guts, who I'm not crazy about that card, but I figured I'd give him a spin. Got old Boomy out. Mog Hunter is actually pretty solid. And I love Alaka coming in ready.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And I've got Alaka and Mega Alaka in this deck, which is fun.
Like the fact that you have Mog Hunter just makes me sad here because no matter what I play, it just gets rocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do you feel Zap actually plays? Do you think it's an individual damage or it's a stacked? Because TCO plays it like it's stacked. So I choose one, then I choose a second one.
Oh yeah. Deal 1 damage to a creature for each house represented among
yeah,
creatures.
It lets me spread it.
Right. I think.
And I'm not sure if that's accurate, the correct.
Right. I think they've clarified, and I think it should be just 1 creature. It's like Sack of Coins, just based on clarifications I've seen from them. Otherwise, we can play it however TCO plays it. That's not OP to do it the other way. But Archon Arcana would have that. They do a great job of keeping track of all of those rulings that unfortunately FFG isn't compiling for us, but Archon Arcana does.
Oh, nice.
Which is great. Yeah. It's a great resource. If anybody, I don't think people talk about it much. It's not too publicized, but definitely check Archon Arcana out for that sort of thing.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a link to that. I'll put it in the show notes.
Definitely.
And so going on this talk of cards, I'm just gonna keep the conversation going, and it's in relation to our latest episode. Is there any card that has been reprinted in Worlds Collide that you feel has new life? Like it was okay or bad in the previous, if it existed in the previous 2 sets, and now in Worlds Collide, it's suddenly like it's actually good. Do you have a card that comes to mind?
Oh man. Not right off the bat. I'd probably have to look at lists of what was reprinted. I know you did an article on that.
Yeah, it's based on
Archon's Corner. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
My top one was Cutthroat Research because of the key cost increase. I thought that it.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my like top choice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it comes to you, just speak up at any point throughout the game and let us know.
Yeah, we'll do.
So now, what would you consider your greatest KeyForge achievement? This can be anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily a winning thing, but just what you consider an achievement in KeyForge. Like, what would you consider your greatest like achievement in this game?
Oh, sure. I think off the top of my head, so I've gotten the chance to go to a couple vault tours and things, which has been great. But I would have to say all of the people I've introduced to the game, especially locally here in the kind of North Georgia area. I've gotten enough friends into the game who want to play it repeatedly. They will like text me and ask me when we can play KeyForge again. That I think I can actually start a weekly, play night at a local game store. Just going to take a lot of effort because they don't have a big staff or anything like that. But I would call that my biggest achievement, just having people repeatedly ask me, just nerdy friends who we play other board games together, but they actually want to play KeyForge with me. I think between the appeal of KeyForge, credit to FFG, and just the fun we have playing it together, I'm certainly perhaps contagiously excited about this game and the possibilities for the future of this game and getting more and more people into it. So yeah, I'd have to say my card game evangelism is probably what I would call my biggest success. I've also gone at all of the big tournaments I've gone to, the Grand Championships and then 2 Vault Tours. I have gone 3-3 at every single one. Now, they've all been sealed. I haven't had a chance to do Archon at that level. But a friend of mine bought me a shirt that says consistency over perfection after my third 3-3 appearance, which I'm always happy with a 3-3 appearance. I'm by no means upset with that. I would love to do better than that at some point, but I've always been happy to go and have a great time with the community. So
I like that. That's great.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got to play the board or hand here. I'm not really sure what I want to do. I don't think Mog Hunter would actually survive a fight with
that's true.
there, so I can't take out Fingers.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this board you created is just this. So my game plan with this deck is, if you could say what would be the worst case scenario, I think I'm in it right now.
Mm. Good to know. Let's see here. I think we're gonna push with Logos and risk it a bit because I've got an Igor and I want to see what I can grab.
Very nice. I love Igor.
Yep.
I actually played a store championship, and it was sealed, and we did it with one deck AOA, one deck Worlds Collide, which was really interesting. The stores claimed that because it was an AOA, they had to use AOA, which I don't think is really a thing, but it doesn't really matter. It was a lot of fun to see those two cards and have two different metas in a sealed meta go against one another.
Yeah,
so
certainly.
I really appreciated it once I did it, and I had this disgusting deck that had 3 Igors, 2 backup copies. It had a wild wormhole. It had 3 war grumpuses plus a grumpus tamer. And I can't
love
remember
war grumpus and grumpus tamer.
Oh,
they're so fun.
And then it had Untamed, and it had a Dusk Witch in it.
Oh no, that's totally broken if the Dusk Witch lives and you get all those.
And that is what
and all
happened.
The others out there.
I generated 15 Ember in one turn using Brobnar because I had a war chest as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was the craziest thing I've ever pulled off.
My practice partner Asher at the Richmond Vault Tour pulled the deck with, I think, 2 Dusk Witch and every single tool in Untamed to bring it back. And so on one cycle of a deck, he could theoretically play the Dusk Witch, I think, 16 times.
Very nice.
And then, he had, I think, double Drummer Knot and a few other things. And so if a Dusk Witch survived, it basically turned on completely made the Brobnar his Amber Rush house, with the Dusk Witch comboing with the Brobnar ready abilities there. Telegut and Feathered Shaman, both impact cards there. Feathered Shaman being able to ward its neighbors on Reap is real strong. Most of the other ward each of the neighbor cards have a cost associated of some kind, but
they do, yes. And then this is my favorite way to finish these turns.
Very nice.
But I think you're probably going to end up taking this game just based on the way things are going.
Right. We'll see. Yeah, the fittest is what Bumblebird wanted to be. Great art.
Yes.
Just abysmal card. And I also do love the art on the fittest. If you look, you've got all these normal looking creatures and then this friggin' xenomorph, like fangs and tongues and blades thing coming out of the woods, which is just
it's really cool.
Amazing.
So the next question I have for you, and I feel like this is a very appropriate question for you, is what advice would you give to a new player joining the KeyForge community?
The advice I would give to a new player joining the KeyForge community is 2 pieces off the top of my head. One would be pick a few of your early decks that you kind of have gotten first. Maybe you just have a handful, and that's awesome. My practice partner Asher just had, I think, 6 or 10 decks for the first few months and just played those. So just pick a few decks of your early decks while you're learning the game and just deep dive into those decks. I don't care if they're great. That's what adaptive is for. That will really help you learn the game and also learn how to understand and crack a deck. That's one of the things I love most about KeyForge is that the decks are unique and can totally reward you for knowing them super well. Either you take a deck that's medium to good and make it amazing because you just know how to play it in exactly every situation, or it's a top tier adaptive deck for you because you know exactly how to beat it and exactly how to play it. And then the other advice I would give is be involved in the people in the community. Like play with people better than with you if you want to be competitive. But be gracious to the new people. Look up to the experienced players because the people are what make it. So make sure you're making the people a priority when you're when you're playing and going out to events and everything, which is really a mark of the community so far. People are very kind and very open. So
agree.
those are the two pieces of advice I would give.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then next up I have for you is, what type of KeyForge player are you? Do you enjoy playing the control game, a combo game, a rush game? Like what is the type of game of KeyForge that you like to play? Like how would you define yourself? Or do you like to play different kinds of things?
Yeah, I've gotten to experience a couple kinds of decks. I think the most fun I have is a deck that can win well with a big board. I just love having creatures and the options of creatures and all the options they give me. So like this one is probably my preferred style, where it can build out a big board, and that's part of the the winning strategy.
So you must enjoy Worlds Collide because there is so many creatures that have abilities once they're on the board that you can utilize, and it's not just a body anymore.
Yes.
I
really do.
Speak of the devil, here comes one of them right now.
Right. Yep. Chief Engineer Walls with that play, fight, reap ability. He is this kind of the sleeper MVP of this deck because it has so many upgrades, and plenty of them are in Starlines. I just picked up Discombobulator there, so obviously can't play it this turn. But
well, definitely not, because I got rid of your Comm Officer Kirby's.
That's right. Very sadly.
But I'm guessing that's something you would do in this situation, is drop a Kirby, throw something like that on. That's it, depending on the situation.
Yeah, Comm Officer Kirby is great for, I love picking up something else out of house with walls and then dropping it because I've got a Kirby in play already. Let's see. Play the Lethal Distraction. Unfortunately, it's not going to have anything to do. And do I play this wacky card in hand? For fun, and I'm at 9 for my third key, so let's go for it. Although it's a Quintrino Flux, so I'm actually not sure it's going to benefit me all that much. So can pick let's see here.
Oh.
You've got 2 2s. Oh, I'd hit walls. That's okay. But if I hit Jargoggle on this turn, that means I'll play my other one, and then I'll hit your Kurkar. And then my Jargoggle will play another creature. Just shore that up. Yeah, there we go. I feel good about that. Although it gave you an amber, so that'll give you a key, I think. But
not that matters.
Right.
Cough.
Right. Yeah, I think giving you a key, but removing some board options there was probably a good call.
I can't really argue with that. I'm pretty sure you just win here.
Yeah.
From where I'm sitting.
Mostly thanks to that logo start that got me up to.
It did
really,
indeed, yeah.
My first 2 keys were just because of my 5-card logo starting hand. And then I drew into a pretty good Brobnar turn, which is a really lovely thing to be able to say in Worlds Collide.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy barn raising. I've got enough creatures I can usually fight, and then Ganger Chieftain and a lock-in means I'm usually fighting more than I could otherwise. And the Berserker Slam, I love Berserker Slam.
I think it's one of the best Brobnar cards. I think behind Burn the Stockpile might be like the best Ember Control Brobnar.
Yeah, the 4 damages.
There's a lot of iron
so
obelisks in this. I feel like they might be a rare, but that you see them frequently. I've got a few deck with iron obelisk.
Strong card.
Since this game's wrapping to a close, at least it looks closer than it was.
Right.
I'm going to ask you. This is kind of my final question.
Of course.
And it's my favorite one that I ask is, if you could have any KeyForge character that exists be your spirit animal, what card character would it be, and why would you choose that as your spirit animal?
Oh man, I've gotten practice answering questions like these after guesting on Call of Discovery.
Yeah, he does ask questions like that, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're great. I hope more people pick that up. Let's see. Because the question from there was that podcast was Road Trip, and I think I picked Comm Officer Kirby. But as far as spirit animal,
yeah, that was different. This is like you identify with it. This is the thing. You identify with this creature is kind of the key.
Sure, sure. Identifying with them. Let's see. So I'm gonna pick a weird one, but I have a weird reasoning that works, even though the card's not great mechanically. I've got the
Okay.
card in this deck. I'm gonna pick NARP. I'm going to pick NARP, and here's why. I don't have a completely ridiculous reason for this, funnily enough. So, NARP is powerful. He's got armor, and I love. I love that NARP is a big board presence. I know that's not always the most important thing in KeyForge because he can just be bounced or destroyed or whatever. So he's big, he's loud, and the thing is, while mechanically NARP's neighbors not being able to reap is a detriment in the game, what I imagine that being is NARP giving his neighbors focus at the task at hand because he just wants to fight. NARP isn't playing KeyForge. NARP is a creature in KeyForge, so he's getting his neighbors just to fight. So they can't reap. They can't get distracted by going and gathering amber. They've got to focus on the task in front of them and fight, which of course mechanically doesn't work out well for us. NARP is not that great. I usually just stick upgrades on him, like key costs and stuff. Yeah, just so my opponent has to kill him, and that's only if you don't have a battle line manipulation. But anyway, so I'd pick NARP. I just love the ridiculousness, the expression, and then the I'm going to choose to interpret his mechanical ability as giving his neighbors focus and intent.
I like that. You're probably one of the few who will say such good things about NARF, so he deserves that.
Yeah,
that's great.
The weight he pulls in this deck is I can slap key cost increase or some other stuff on him, and then my opponent just has trouble removing him if they don't have a straight up removal card to damage him. Yeah, exactly. So
that's awesome. Well, Zach, you definitely showed me what it is to play KeyForge tonight. I'll tell you that much.
Great. Glad I could high roll into that lesson there.
That was awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's always great to chat with you. I basically, like I said, you weren't going to be my second guest, but when I listened to Call of Discovery, I was like, I miss having conversations with Zach. I think I'm going to call him up and see if he's up for this.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we could make this happen. Very glad.
Yes, thank you. And where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
You can find me on Twitter. My handle there is Zach Armstrong 88. That's ZACH Armstrong 88. I'm also on Discord. I believe I'm findable as Zach Armstrong on there. You can check the member list in the Sanctimonious Discord is probably the easiest place to find me. But Twitter is probably where I'll be the most responsive.
Fantastic. Thank you again. And as always, everyone, may your amber never be stolen and you forge your keys promptly. Have a good one.